Because the Titans invested a great deal of work in perfecting their design of Azeroth, the Emerald Dream is not a single perfect vision of what Azeroth would become. The finished design of the planet was the product of many previous flawed or unfinished models. The Dream, therefore, has multiple layers, one for each of these earlier incarnations. Remember that inside the Dream exists the Rift of Aln, where they believe the Dream actually stems from. However, that seems to be the root of the Nightmare's corruption. These older layers of the Dream are often incomplete, and therefore limited in scope relative to the finalized Dream. But remember, the Dream is what they want for Azeroth. What if I told you that there's a possibility that the Void planets, these things, scattered around Azeroth, are the result of what the Titans would deem to be flawed or unfinished models? That this is the result of them attempting to essentially use the Dream to... It sounds like to me they're trying to use the Dream to basically keep Azeroth, they're trying to turn Azeroth into a planet that's completely under the control of life and light, so that Azeroth can never escape, so that the Titans can use her as an infinite battery to supply their ideal version of the cosmos. There. That's what I'm getting to with this. The Titans have been using all manner of mechanisms to try to keep Azeroth subdued. Their entire goal is to control the cosmos and order it in the way that they see fit. Now, if you want to assert intent, I think that you can with ANR, personally, but you don't even have to. You don't even have to assume intent to a degree, because you can figure this out just operating off of the things that we know to be true about the Titans. I also added there, here's the thing, Azeroth is at the very least, I believe this, Azeroth is at the very least the center of the universe as the Titans would have us believe it exists. As far as the Titans would have us believe our universe exists, Azeroth is at the center. Okay, but whether or not it's really at the center is a different question. I think Azeroth is in the center of the Titan-built universe that we exist in, but I don't know if it's truly the center of everything. It very well could be. It very well could be, considering what we think Azeroth might be. I said there is a possibility that reality as we know it is not reality. And people, I mentioned as well that I think that if it ended up being the case that our entire reality is the Great Dark Beyond, like my biggest like tinfoil hat theory at the moment, and for how they can take the story for another 20 years, is by tearing down the walls of what we know as reality and revealing to us that the twisting nether around us is like possible. I think that there is a possibility that Azeroth quite literally exists in like a pocket made by the Titans that we call reality, when the truth is that like that's not how it is. Like maybe it's at the edge of the six realms, the center of them. Well, I'm not so sure about how exactly the six realms thing works. I'm not so let's just continue. Let's just continue. I said that we actually wake up in a fake reality, that we're actually in a fake reality designed entirely by these fucking Titan gods, and that Azeroth could potentially wake up and take us out of here. I'm just spitballing, but it's the type of shit that could open up decades worth of storytelling if they go that route. And then Zalithus posts this, and this is an item that you get multiple different versions of in Shadowlands. It's called Titan Training Matrix, and the flavor text says, unfortunately, nobody can be told what the Titan Matrix is. You have to see it for yourself. And this is a direct quote from Morpheus from fucking The Matrix. Unfortunately, no one can be told what the Matrix is. You have to see it for yourself. And I kind of feel like this. Like, I'm trying to get you guys to take the blue pill. Okay? I'm trying to get you to take the blue pill. I honestly think that we do live in a completely Titan-controlled reality. Red pill, I mean. Thank you. Whichever one it is. Take the red pill. Sorry. I'm trying to red pill you. We do, I think we really do exist in a fucking, like a matrix that the Titans have built that is a giant stabilization stasis matrix. And we're all, like, it's all inside of it. I said, I mean, we are literally in the fucking matrix, dude. It's not a joke. I agree with you. Evil's not the right word for it. Yeah. It's not the right word. I wouldn't say... It's funny, you probably wouldn't believe this when you hear me say it, but I actually don't know if I would refer to the Titans as evil anymore. After yesterday, I don't know if I refer to them as evil anymore. I'm gonna be honest. I think they're afraid. I think to an extent, the Titans are like AI that became aware of their existence to the point where the premise of restarting the computer is almost like them dying. Like, I think they're afraid of the cycle ending. They're afraid of the grand cycle ending. And so they have put the cosmos into stasis so that it doesn't end. And I think that is terribly sad. Because I think that expresses like deeper, like a deeper meaning about things ending and bringing new things. Rebirth. It's... The Titans are trying to stop a cycle that they are a part of because they don't... Probably because they fear the end of it. And I don't know that I can blame them. Doesn't mean that what they do is right? Fuck no. But do I blame them for being scared? No. Okay, so this is where we start talking about the dream. ANR plants tree in Ungoro crater. Tree gets corrupted, creates Il'gynoth in the nightmare. We go into the nightmare and kill Il'gynoth, which takes him back, as he says, I return to Neolotha. It takes him back to Neolotha. As he uses the word return, we kill Il'gynoth there, and we go back to, just so you guys know, we go to Neolotha, and we kill Il'gynoth, and then he goes where? I said, if Il'gynoth was in Neolotha before and is returning, how did it get to the tree? Did Cthulhu corrupt it? Where the fuck did Il'gynoth come from? And what does it mean for the nature of Neolotha? Like, if we kill Il'gynoth, and he goes back to Neolotha, does that mean that Neolotha is like an afterlife? What does that mean? And then Skiz says, I still assume Neolotha is another instance of the dreaming city. I said, okay, so let's use that. Let's say Neolotha, the dreaming city, is part of the dream. And let's think about the nightmare for a second. It's the decay side of the dream, which is otherwise spirit. And someone said decay equals Guhu, and I said, so as I said before, the nightmare and dream probably both should exist. You can't have the dream without the nightmare. It's not fucking possible. I don't think it is anymore, at least. Like, that's part of this inherent flaw with how they're trying to use the dream to order Azeroth. If the dream is, like, in truth, succumbs to decay, then what do you think is going to happen when they try to use the dream as a blueprint for flashing Azeroth? Check this out. I think re-origination is essentially a technology that allows the Titans to take a slate, a design, like N'Zoth had with Neolotha in his dream, and put it in reality. That would mean that if the dream is corrupted with the nightmare, any time that you try to use the dream as like a flash, like a BIOS flash on a computer to like change your BIOS fucking version, you're like flashing everything away and resetting it so that you can put a new version on it. And as we were reading earlier, the dream and its layers that exist, it says right here, the dream therefore has multiple layers because the finished design of the planet was the product of many previous flawed or unfinished models. The dream therefore has multiple layers, one for each of these earlier incarnations. Those older layers of the dream are often incomplete and therefore limited in scope relative to the finalized dream. That's part of why the idea that old gods being born from falsely handled life is why there are old god planets around Azeroth, because they may actually be discarded attempts at using the dream to fucking forge Azeroth the way that they want it to be. These are simulations. These are simulations. They're tests. This is their garbage can where they're throwing away their fucking tests. This is the Titans doing this. These planets didn't just appear here by themselves. It's their fault. Their fucked up ordering tactics are literally doing this. And then we're trying to be convinced that, oh, it's this other external force. And in a sense, technically the Void is involved, but not in the way that they make you think. Not in the way that they try to make it seem like the Void is the creator of the old gods. Think of the dream and nightmare as two sides of the same coin. And I don't think the nightmare is actually bad. It's just decay. It's a harsh reality of the situation. Life feeds on decay in a sense. Spirit and decay together in the same place. But they act like the nightmare is a no-no. You know why? Because spirit is stasis. It's order. Decay is not. It's chaos. It's what they consider corrupted. It's corruption. That is why the nightmare is always pushed back against and fought back, because they can't accept the truth. The Titans claim Azeroth consumed spirit. More likely they fused it into her to keep her in stasis. Exactly, whether they realize it or not. But let's be honest, if Azeroth is light, creation, then she is also chaotic. We started the stream by discussing about how different cosmic forces can also exist in the domains of others slightly, in that light and death are still order. That is absolutely the case. Void and chaos, Void and fucking, I keep losing it. Void and life are chaos. They are, even if they're separate in the grand scheme of it. I said she is also chaos, and they likely don't like that. If Azeroth is free, the universe is not in order, not to the Titans. That is why order is the enemy for us. I said I'm not sure if the Draenei and Naru should be so easily assumed separate from the Titans. They seem to be the most orderly civilization we've ever encountered, which is strange, considering they come from the Twisting Nether as far as I understand it, and that's where demons come from. However, and I get into this later, that's not true. There's actually a lot of evidence to support the idea that Argus actually used to be a world in reality, which actually suggests that it may have been put there, forged, like that by the Titans. And that when Sargeras came and the shattering there happened and the fell energy started to seep across the world, that is actually what was responsible for pulling Argus into the Nether, and that it wasn't originally there, which is phenomenal. Like, that's crazy to me, because that makes me think of something that could happen to our world. Like, is it possible that it could be pulled into the Nether? And if it was, Argus wasn't destroyed by the Nether. Their city, Eradath, wasn't destroyed by the Nether. It's in almost perfectly pristine condition, in fact. And it's like, it makes me just think, like, is it possible that worlds are supposed to exist in the Twisting Nether? I mean, think about it. If the Twisting Nether is the realm where chaos is a thing, but listen to this. All of the freaking forces are intermingling there. Death and life, order and chaos, light and void. All of those things are intermingling there. That almost sounds to me like that's kind of how it's supposed to be. Like, the forces aren't supposed to be ordered out and separate from one another. They're supposed to be intermingling. That's how reality works. That's how reality works. So it makes me wonder, is our perception of reality, is our space in which Azeroth exists literally a fucking matrix designed to keep us separated from the actual universe, which is, perhaps in truth, the Twisting Nether? Like I said earlier in the stream, things are not mutually exclusive. Stop acting like just because one thing is one thing that it can't be another. Once again, death is antithetical to life, but it is still order. Light is order, right? Even though it's not arcane, it is still order. Like, decay is inherently connected to time. Entropy is inherently connected to time and decay. Like, decay happens as a result of the progression of time and the grip of entropy. You know what I'm saying? Like, these things they don't exist mutually, like, they're not exclusive to one another. Like they interact. Like, decay exists as more than just what you perceive as the elemental force of decay. Like, yes, the void is also decay, in that it is fucking literal manifested entropy. Yes, they're both decay. That's why I'm saying that when the Titans have been using the light and people are like, well, the Titans are arcane, Pyro. They don't use the light. Remember, people would say that to me all the fucking time before. That used to be one of the most common responses I would get when I try to convince people that the Titans use the light. No, Pyro, they're arcane. Except you're realizing that that's not fucking true. That it doesn't have to be arcane, that they're willing to use order from other forces. So this idea that, oh, they're specifically this and they can only ever be that is dumb, and you have to let go of that because it's not true. They are willing to use forces that are not of their own domain so that they can do what they want. Because if they see creation as order in the cosmos, then they become creator gods when they order everything. And then they're the ruler of the cosmos. Do you think there's a force greater than the Titans? Not opposing, like, do they have a boss? I think that the only thing theoretically above the Titans is Azeroth. I don't think that the Titans have something commanding them above them. If anything, we're all dancing to the mad tune of Azathoth. But I think that given how they have portrayed Azeroth, and they kind of portray her as like hope incarnate and like tied to the mortals and like it's our world and you know, keeping her safe and stuff, like I don't think that they're gonna do that necessarily, but we'll see. She could have potentially been that before, but I don't know. Astheron, thank you for the 3-month resub. Welcome back. I'm convinced she's the strongest of them all beyond a Titan. That's kind of what I think. That's not kind of what I think. That is what I think. Yeah. Excuse me. Is there a chance that these are the same thing? I mean, why is Argus cut in fucking half, dog? I thought this was explicitly the case, to be honest. I mean, it looks like this is the world. That's like the War Within logo. It's pretty wild. And look at how they depict Sargeras. That's not Sargeras. That's not the way we saw him. Why is he like that? You know why? Because he's being dominated. Look at his blade. They got him with the rune blade. Khaz'goroth and Norgannon probably forged it. Why do you think he doesn't have that sword anymore? Why do you think he has something different? He doesn't wield that rune blade anymore. This is when they had him. This is before Sargeras broke free. What if they actually framed this motherfucker? What if they set him up to make him look like this fucking insane guy, this insane fucking bad guy, when in reality, they're literally just trying to control the entire universe. And this guy's the only one with enough power and got close enough to stopping them. We're all that's left. It's gonna have to be us now, chat. It's gonna have to be us. Huh. I hope we got enough. Because if Illidan doesn't come back, I hope we got enough. Huh. If we are in a hyper-controlled environment, so to speak, that the Titans have essentially built, constructed, in such a way that they can have control over it, which I think is the case, then it just playing just briefly with the idea that our reality exists outside of what is real. And what I mean by that, like I said earlier, the twisting nether. I want to start considering the possibility, for the sake of storytelling, that like I really am starting to think that like I said earlier, that Azeroth is not sitting in what would be considered its natural plane of like reality. I think it exists in a very specific, ordered, like controlled state, and I think that is due to the Titans. Like it's in. I'm not joking. I think that like our little sun, and it's all connected like in a fucked up, like hard to perceive, like blending of realms kind of way. But I think that essentially it's like our reality is crafted to have everything in it. A sun, a moon, like you have the planet itself, you have stars that are, I think frankly, painted on a fucking barrier essentially, which I think I can prove at this point that it exists. From the inside looking out, like it's very clear that there's either an illusion or that there's something that is keeping us from seeing what's really there. If we can assert that we are in, think about this. What do the Titans put all the fucking things that they imprisoned in? They didn't put them all in this, but the Titans have shown that they're capable of building pocket dimensions. Mardoom is apparently like a pocket dimension prison for the demons. The elemental planes are like pocket dimensions, right? If they can build that and link them to reality, and then have their stability based upon like the integrity of things like the world pillar in the fucking plane of Earth that stops the plane of Earth from collapsing into reality, that's pretty incredible levels of magic. Like, if they can do that, then what's to say that like literally our entire, not just the planet, but the solar system, including our sun and moons, are inside of a pocket dimension. And that if you were to unravel that pocket dimension, that the planet would be in the twisting nether, not in what we know as reality in what we call the great dark beyond. The Titans view reality as data. They describe old gods as errors and anomalies. They view rifts in space as things that need to be corrected, like a glitch. How fucking weird. That's why all their machines talk like that. Algalon too. They really are weird, order-compelled computers. What the fucking shit? AI, perhaps. The Naru are basically AI robots. They're programmed with chips. And I said, what do they see Azeroth as? Chaos? And that's what Shin said. It's very simple. They're seeking to overthrow all the other primal forces in the cosmos, and it's working. It has worked, chat. It has worked. That's what you should be so afraid of. It's working. They've waylaid almost every other cosmic force. The cunning ones kneel before 6 masters but serve only one. 6 seats at the high table, 6 mouths that hunger. One will devour all the others. One shall consume all others. It's talking about order.